Yeah. So let's see. So in that case, what we would really need to address now is the relationship between sales and delivery and the ecosystem, right?
Yeah. I'm also curious about what you're thinking about how to build out the sales processes and the systems. Because I think like there were maybe a couple of ideas that we've already talked about between Victor and I. So maybe he's told them to you already, but maybe he hasn't. So we could.
I don't know what you've spoke, and to be honest, my angle is not how to create the systems. My angle is how to create the sale. And what I mean by this is, and I've told this to Victor, my perception is we need to go out there and have people trying and testing this as much as possible. And we have two things here. One thing is we get people to give us feedback on what they feel and what they think at an early stage, as early as possible. But the most important thing is that we get adoption. My
Hmm.
my theory is that we need to have massive adoption as fast as possible. So what I want to do is to go out there and to say, hey guys, this exists. Can we agree on a testing period of you to use it? And then you let us know. What did you find? How do you value it? What would you be willing to pay? Maybe that can be a conversation at a later stage. So my idea is to get as many people on board as possible within a reasonable amount of people that can be managed by my time and by my connection with them, and have that to start. Of course, that we need to have systems. Of course, that we need to have processes. That's not my strength. So I would rather I'm a field guy in this, Christine. I'm a guy that sees who could be using this, addresses them, puts them to use it, and sees what they say, so that we can have sales. That's the simple angle that I have.
Okay, yeah, because I know Victor had said he wants to do a research phase. Is that what you're basically talking about there?
This would definitely be a research phase, yes. I don't know if he
Mm.
said that after our conversations or if he had that in mind before it. One way or another, that's my idea, is to do part
Mm.
of it's a pre-beta thing. Pre-beta, not in the sense of the software itself. It's a pre-beta in the sense of the go-to-market. It's a pre-beta go-to-market. It's a let's have friends and family, or people that could be not being friends and family, but are interested in seeing how
Mm.
this could work, but almost in a friends and family vibe. The guys from the tech and the guys from IDGs, they are not friends, they are not family, but they are people that could be interested in having a go with it and get telling us what their experience was, what they lacked, what they
Mm.
enjoyed, what they felt like. And so that's my thing, is to do that as soon as we can.
Yeah, and so Mike, I guess I have a couple of questions. Like, if we do, because I think there's the idea of having some beta testers, like small beta test groups, but then people like the Algarve tech community and then the IDGs, like how, if in that case, if we give them a test, what's the conversion from going from a test to a paid client? Is that,
That's what we need to talk about.
yeah.
I don't
Hmm.
have that clear, and I think that this should be talked about between the three of us.
Yeah. Okay.
It would be something that we would sell from the beginning.
Hmm.
What I don't want to do is I don't want to have a product that nobody knows because nobody has used yet. People say, yeah, that's great. The idea is fantastic. And then because we put a price tag in the beginning, nobody buys it. And whenever people ask, so who is using it? We can say, oh, we haven't sold it yet. And nobody wants to be the first guy. So the
Hmm.
moment we have use cases, they don't need to know if they are paid or not paid. We can say that this, and that is being used. And if you look at how all the big success tech companies happened, they mostly managed to have people to use them. I'm not saying that Amazon started like that because it didn't. Amazon started as a paid service from early days, but Amazon being the exception, everything else was about creating community and having people using it and creating awareness around it. Once we have awareness around it, it's a different story. But I also agree that we can have but we must have a place where at a certain stage it moves to a paid service. It moves to a place where there is money involved. And like I said, in the very beginning, some of them may already start like that. I think that you wrote a very nice proposal for the IDGs. There is no reason why we shouldn't go with a low entry fee, with the low entry price, to a possibility of having some money coming in and financing the whole thing, but also having the notion that this is sellable.
Mm. Mhm.
So it's a combination of tasting and having the taste to serve both as ability to say these people are using, these people are using, these people are using, and at the same time also having the possibility of selling in the sense of getting money and evolving on the development front. Because one of the things that I told Victor, for example, is Catapult Future Fest is happening this year. Uh, Last year it didn't. They wanted a sabbatic period for the reinvention. People at the Catapult Future Fest, they are Norwegian. It's originally from Norway. This year they are going to do it in Holland. And one of the guys that is very, very close, I would say it's the closest person to the CEO of that or the founder of that, is somebody that I have known for some time now, and we are becoming close. And I told him about the idea um, of using our stuff, and he said, "Yes, that's definitely a possibility. Let's talk about it." And I'm saying, using our
Mm.
stuff as a means to prepare, like Victor said, as a ramping up for the conference itself, and as a aftermath of the conference itself. So both can be an interesting moment to check ourselves. And the question is, how fast can we be ready for that? And
Yeah.
and so I've spoken with Victor, and we we agree that something needs to be considered here. Maybe getting some funds to go beyond bootstrapping and involving people for goodwill. Also having somebody that can be paid, putting some money down. So all these possibilities need to be considered. My point is that we need to be in adoption as fast as possible, because as we all know, there is a huge waterfall of AI stuff, or many waterfalls of AI stuff being poured into the world. And
Mm.
only the ones that will be seen massively will survive. That's my belief. And so we have to be there. And we have the conditions to be there. I know many people. Victor knows many people. I assume and believe that you also know many people. So it's about putting it out there and making it happen. It's a way to
Mm.
go around and see how much can we be known. We will win from that, not only the feedback from the market, but also the awareness and the word of mouth. And then we need to find a way to monetize it. But that, I think that if we have value, people will be ready to monetize. And I also have a very specific idea of going on business to business, not B2C. Sorry, not B2B, but B2C. I see how can I, as an individual, take great use of coherence conversations for myself, for me as a person. And I do know that I am not an example, a massive example of this, at least not now. But in the way that this could be executed, I see a vast opportunity in the business to consumer.
Hmm. Yeah, we
And
haven't
I
really talked
see
about
how
that.
we could start that. Was that?
I don't think we've explored that too much. I think we assumed
Nothing.
that it was too tricky to try at this point, but maybe that's not the right assumption. I'm not sure.
I understand that it's not an easy sell. It's not an obvious thing, but I also see how can this become a blue ocean, the business to consumer thing. the individual use of this. I haven't had any conversation where I heard anybody saying something like this. I came across this idea last week or 2 weeks ago, actually. I started to think, I could use this way, I could use this that way, etc., etc. And I want to bring that to the table. So when we talk tomorrow, I will have a conversation on that, and then I'll produce a document on it so that there is a formal input from my side on that particular thing.
Mm-hmm. I think.
So, what from your side would you tell me? How do you see? Yes, you're saying. I think. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm curious what question you might ask. Like I have a few
The
things.
question is, after having said this, what would you tell me from the ecosystem end?
Yeah, so I think what we might need to do is figure out what is the offer for these early stage test cases, because it may not just be conversations like this, it may be a couple of pieces put into a stack, right? So, one thing we really need to figure out is how do we offer people the right type of synthesis for the data that's created from the conversations? Because we have a few ideas on partners for this, but each one has a different approach, right? And so that's actually an interesting thing to talk to someone about in their community, figure out what type of synthesis they're looking for, AI synthesis, and then be able to like curate or customize their the stack with the conversations, the AI synthesis, plus potentially a few other tools put in together there. So from the ecosystem side, we've already started building some of those relationships with the AI synthesis providers. And I feel like that's sort of where I'm going to be spending a lot of time is building up intimate awareness of what all these tools do, and then breaking that down simplistically for the sales teams to like be able to just quickly put two and two together, or use our systems to use the AI essentially to analyze and like recognize patterns of who wants what and how they can build their custom stack. Does that make sense?
Yes. So
Yeah.
basically, what I hear you saying is that you would be looking at how to develop the range of products that we can offer.
We would start at a couple. Yeah, that like we would probably agree us three on what we think would be a good starting point. Maybe it comes down to the people that you find and then their particular needs. Maybe it comes down to the fact that we do already have a few partners in the loop on the AI side. So we should be actually thinking more in detail about how that works for an offer and what that looks like to then combine that with coherence.
Makes sense. We
Yeah.
definitely need to work hand in hand, because that is part of what we will be getting also from the use cases and from the research, from the
Yeah.
field experience with people. So definitely, I think
Mm.
that you will be a lot into looking at what is out there in terms of offer. What are the other AIs? What is being offered? Like you said, what are the products that can be
Yeah.
considered? And
Mm-hmm.
probably from the sales side, from my side, it will be a lot on what are the clients saying, what are they looking for, what are they commenting on the experience that they have with what we are offering them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is the combination that we need to have
Yeah.
and to articulate.
Yeah, we can build all sorts of systemic support for that, I hope. But that's probably the crux of it. Um, and also the community of practice. The goal is to get, well, the theory is that we're trying is that we can have a group of people who are also interested in what coherence is doing, but in an adjacent way. They may or may not become account managers or resellers of coherence or facilitators of coherence experiences or experience designers who want to showcase coherence as part of their offerings. Or they could even be tech providers who want to develop a closer relationship with coherence because they like the potential. So the idea is that that's cool. those people are organized into a group essentially, and they can get to know each other as well as us. And then the theory is that this will help us to create more density for the company and for the programs that we offer. What do you think about that as a core idea?
That was exactly so. What I wrote, the first thing that I wrote in the document that was produced around, um, there was a document that I worked with Victor last Thursday. I can't remember which one it was, but this was a document where no, actually, it was the document that you produced on the that you produced with Claude on the sales profile person, right? The thing that you shared with me, remember, where you defined the kind of the profile of who we would be looking for. That I said that person is me.
Oh yeah,
Remember that?
yeah.
I think that was the document that we edited and we included things. And one of the things that I remember having put in the first, and that is they're asking for your revision and for your agreement on what we included, both of us, Victor, myself. And so one of the key things there is that I said that there has to be an extreme articulation and understanding on what is proposed in the previous document as the sales channel. The sales, not the sales channels, sorry, the partners, the set of partners.
Mm.
Remember that there is
Yeah.
this document with the 7 types of partners,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What I hear you say is you are mentioning those and you are talking about how do we go together with the connection to those people, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then, well, the community of practice, these are some other people. They're not like strict partners. Well, they could play a few different roles. Like it's a little bit messy on that level.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it messy. I think it's vast and it's interconnected. Not messy in the sense of disorganized or anything. It's still needing clarification, of course, because we are putting
Mm.
things out there from our heads and not from our experience. And it's a good thing that we can conceptualize to the point that we are conceptualizing, namely the document that you wrote and all of that. And now it's about
Mm.
understanding how that evolves in the real world, in practice. When we put that in practice, what gets more traction, what needs to be tweaked, what can be put together.
Mm.
And so I think it's the way to go. And naturally, because the key thing here is that because what we have in common there is we are addressing the market with a collaboration proposition. From my side, the collaboration proposition is more use us, buy us, and as you use them, as you use what we are offering and as you buy what we are offering, tell us what your experience is and how it can be made better. And
Mm.
that is partially a, a significant part, maybe the major part on what we want with the partners, even if it's not for for explicit use of themselves, the product, it's to use the existence of the product as a
Mm.
go-to market, have a markup opportunity for them. It's not only that, we know. The idea with universities, for example, it's naturally much more of utilization in the side of giving us a reputation, naturally. But I also see that universities can use it in a different, even more pragmatic way, which that one is already quite pragmatic, but it still stays in the sphere of content creation as a body of theory by the people that investigate, etc. I want to go one step further, and I want to do that with the exact essence of what coherence has always been to me, which is a leading to action methodology. It's a leading to action equipment.
Mm.
It's a leading to action tool. And I understand that creating content and creating theory is action, but it's not the action that I mean, or it's probably not, I dare to say, not the action that we mean, because the action that I believe we mean is transform reality, is to make the world different from what it is. And producing
Yeah,
theory is a way to help that happen, but it's not making that happen, right?
sure. Yeah.
So, and I want to have a go with the academia, not so much in the theory production, but in the action production. And
Hmm.
there are concrete ideas on how that can be done, and that's part of what I would like to be also sharing.
Yeah, interesting. And I think like probably we're looking at networks are who have financial resources at some point, and so
We
yeah,
need
like
to.
how do you see academics on that scale?
I don't know how we go to price it, and I don't know how we
Mm.
go to price it, and I don't know how we're going to make that happen. But there is a combination of two things. One is if you go to academy, and we are talking about having the students themselves to use this, because that's part of my strategy for the sales process. We are remember that one of my key things is create awareness, create adoption, and that is already a part of it. And I've done this in a totally different element, but with the same intention with my previous company. We had work done with universities, which was paid at a university rate. But what happened was that not only it generated that particular amount of income, but it generated a lot of awareness of some of our products, so that the students then came and wanted to bring them to their companies. And that's of what I see. I see that there should be some sort of a payment from the institutions. I have one particular in mind, but there are more than one that we could and should address in Portugal, in Lisbon. That's where I want to start, because this is where I can have face-to-face conversations with some of the people, which I think that are relevant to be held. And but this is definitely something that we should have as a principle, which is it can be of a different price if we go to a different kind of organization, but it should be priced. It should have some sort of an income from there too.
You know, I think like my one thought that I keep coming back to this conversation is that um, like in the AI age, right? In compounding of usage and attention and value is only going to make the AI more intelligent, more useful, you know, and just better all around. And so I think that there's a way where, with coherence and the fact that we are building experiences and funnels for synthesis, right? And what people do with that synthesis is then very important. But it's the synthesis is a critical aspect to providing value for people using it. And in some ways, I think what I want to be clear about is if we are just like one way we could sell coherence is that, oh, it's a new thing, try this new thing, be the first, and like that will appeal to some people. But I think there's also a deeper strategy of, okay, it's not just like a flavor of the month type tool. It's actually something that the more people invest in it and create with it, the wiser and richer that synthesis becomes. So it creates a strong magnet of its own just to even be able to build that. So to me, that is a way of framing this like it's just the start of that, right? And so it's not just try this and then move on to the next thing. It's try this and try whatever you want, but then this thing here is going to get smarter and richer and more useful and wiser. Does that make sense?
That makes all the sense. I think it's a critical point that you raised, Christine, which
Mm.
is, and that was not on my radar. I totally agree with you. And what I
Mm.
mean that was not on my radar was paying attention for this not to be seen as the flavor of the month, but rather as something that you are starting a relationship with that
Mm.
can evolve, that can deepen, and the more it's like a muscle. The more you use it,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
stronger it gets. That is
Mm.
a very important insight to the whole thing, and namely to how we pitch it from the beginning,
I think
right?
so.
That's
Yeah.
very, very important. Yes.
Hmm.
That, together with the fact that we have to be able to, in a very simple and smiley way, answer questions that may not make sense, but people will probably ask, or maybe ask, will say, which will be, why should I be using this instead of using Claude or ChatGPT or whatever, right? We have
Mm.
to make sure that they understand what this is standing for, how is this special, how is this different, and why they should have one more thing in their portfolio of tools to use, and
Yeah.
why should this be one of them.
Yeah. And also, I think what will help is that we have a really great connection pool of people doing interesting stuff. Like we know a lot of innovative people who are building synthesis tools that aren't what Claude can do. And I mean, they might use the base model, but it's what you do with it after that that actually provides like the cultural flavor. And I think that we do have that in spades. So I'm pretty confident on that level, maybe.
I agree. It's not a
Yeah.
given. It's not something that we
No.
just snap our fingers and it happens. But what I think it is, if so, I totally agree with you, and I'm just rephrasing it in the sense of we start in a starting position of advantage if we would compare to people that would be great technicians, great salespeople, but they would not have sort of the immediate ecosystem that we
Hmm.
each individually can address and can have a bit of a head start, a bit of
Yeah.
a guys, we've known each other for a while, or we roughly know each other, but here is something that we would like you to try and give us some feedback and see how
Hmm.
this could be used.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
I do agree
Yeah.
that we have that head start.
Yeah, and also like the wiser together, humans and AI wiser together, that phrase that Victor created, I think is a key because it's about the flavor and the culture of AI. Like anyone can use AI now, but like what culture are they building with it, or what is the flavor of that? It's not just technical, it's cultural.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And so
Yeah.
that is another thing that we have some sort of an advantage, because one way or another, my sense is that we have this notion of the importance of the culture, not
Mm.
only within ourselves, which is crucial, absolutely. And by that, I mean the ones that will join us with this robust, identifiable, um, specifiable culture that we want to have. But also, as you were saying, how do we bring the humanization of this AI? Like Victor always said in the beginning, from the beginning, it's not necessarily the tech. It's definitely the tech, because we have to have the tech, the right tech, but it's not enough. It's how we bring the right tech, the right way to people. And my
Mm.
my work until recently has always been how to engage with the human aspects, namely with the cultural aspects of any endeavor, and
Yeah.
namely any organization, everything that we've been working with or working for. And having this perception, this sensitivity from the beginning, I guess it's another thing that works on our favor.
Mm.
Absolutely.
I hope so. Yeah.